Hi guys, I'm live again. I hope everyone is doing well. So for those who don't know me, my name is AnitadeSouza. I'm a chartered accountant by profession, but also a financial coach. I am the founder and owner of Committed to Excellence Coaching. And what do? I help entrepreneurs and individuals gain understanding of their finances. I help them to understand their financial health, as well as, deal with debt, build wealth, maximize income to live the life of their dreams. Okay, so today I have a really amazing topic, which is how to get out of debt fast. It's something that affects all of us, and I would love to talk about it today. Hey Nana, how you doing? But before I talk about how to get out of debt fast, I want to acknowledge somebody. I want to acknowledge a young lady. Her name was Leila Janah, and she passed away on the 24th of January this year. There was all this hype about Kobe Bryant and all of that, but I just feel like I didn't hear enough about this young lady passing away. She passed away at the age of 37. Okay, so let me tell you a bit about her, because I just felt I needed to do this. So Leila Janah was an American entrepreneur, and she basically had two companies. They were called Source and LXMI, but the common goal of these companies were to end poverty, end global poverty basically. And she did that through working with people who were in need. Okay, so Leila Janah, she was like an IT geek. If you saw her, she didn't look like it. She was absolutely gorgeous. She was American, as I said, but of Indian heritage. And I came across her watching YouTube 2 years ago, and she was on this program called The Impact Theory by someone called Tom Bilal. And what she talked about was how she's used her business to change the life of people in poverty all over the world. And I was so inspired by her, and I was just like, I need to read her book, because she had a book out. Hi Karim. And so let me tell you a few of the things that she did. So she helped over 50,000 people lift themselves out of poverty, and she did this by going to companies and training them in basic computer skills. She trained them in digital services, so that these people in poverty could work all over the world, because now business and work is online, right? So you don't have to meet somebody in person to be able to work with them. And that's what she did. What else did she do? She created crowdfunding platforms to raise money for doctors who were performing work on women and children in poverty all over the world. She had a product, a beauty brand by the company LXMI, and she was employing like marginalized women to produce these goods, and she was paying them like 3 times the average living wage to be able to lift their lives up, pick themselves up. So this lady, she was a young global leader of the World Economic Forum, and she had won so many awards. She was only 37, but she had impacted the world in so many ways, and I hardly heard anything about her. Actually, I saw a post 2 weeks ago, and I didn't recognize her because she actually died of cancer. But then I saw another post, Leila Janah, if you're watching, sorry I pronounced your name wrong. If you're watching, it was your post that made me realize who she was. I knew I had heard her name from somewhere, and to think at the age of 37 she died of cancer, I was heartbroken. But all you heard was like Kobe Bryant and all of this, and what about this woman who was literally changing the lives of so many people around the world? So I just wanted to acknowledge Leila Janah for everything she had done, and check her out. I will put some of the work that she did on my topic, and I'll also link to one of the posts that she made in April when she found out she had cancer. If you see her, she was so attractive, and you would never think that somebody in April posting that she's got cancer would have been gone by January 2020. So guys, as I keep saying, life is too short. Take those risks now, live your life. Okay, So now I'm going to go into our topic, which is how to get out of debt fast. Okay, but before then, I'm going to talk about some statistics, and because I'm in the UK, these statistics are going to be obviously based in the UK, right? So listen to this. So people in the UK owed 1,669 billion at the end of November 2019. Just imagine. In the year to November 2019, credit card debt averaged 2,591 per the household, or £1,367 per adult, right? The average total debt per household, including mortgages, was £59,982. Based on November 2019 trend, said that the interest payments on personal debt over 12 months was £51,278 million, and that's just interest alone that people are paying on debt. Okay, the Citizen Advice Bureau in England and Wales dealt with 2,616 debt issues every day in the year to December 2019. So if you can imagine, there's so many people going through debt issues, right? The average annual interest per household would have been £1,843 per year and per household, and £972 per person. So can you imagine how much money is going to paying interest because of debt? Okay, and then also there are issues with debt, you know, such as people say that they have money worries, and it affects like 40% of the people in the UK. Clients of an organization called Payplan said that 85% of people felt that debt affected their mental health. And it's true. I've been there. Like, I have been in debt, and I have experienced how stressful it is to be in debt, right? And you know, they felt like they were stressed, they had anxiety and depression because of being in debt, right? And in today's world, I'm so sad to say it, but it's almost like it's normal to have debt because everybody is trying to live a good life, but you can't do that without getting yourself into debt. So I understand the struggle, right? And then the hardest part, I would say, about debt is actually acknowledging that you have a problem, and then acknowledging that you have debt and facing the debt, right? So here's my story. I grew up with a mother who hated debt. She was always talking about, you know, oh, credit cards are not the thing for me. And, you know, so I just grew up being afraid of debt, not really understanding what debt was all about and how to use it. And I'm talking about credit card debt, right? But then when I went to uni, I was offered a Capital One credit card. So I'm sure a lot of people have heard of Capital One. They offer people with bad credit cards. And why are they doing that? So you can get yourself into more debt, right? Actually, I wouldn't even say I had bad credit, but then they offer credit cards to anybody, regardless of whatever you do. And I was in uni and I got offered my first credit card. So what did I do? I accepted it, right? £500 to spend, and I didn't know about the consequences. I don't think our educational system teaches children about debt, how to manage your income, how to manage your debt, and it's really frustrating. So I'm in uni with a £500 credit card, and we are going out, partying, drinking, doing everything that students do, and I racked up £500 of debt on this credit card. So I maxed the credit card, literally, right? And now, obviously, if you've maxed out the credit card, you have to start paying. So now it was the time where I had to start paying. And being a student, I had so many classes to attend, I had work to do, and what happened? I would forget to pay my minimum payment. And back in the day, and I'm sure they do it now, back in the day, when you failed to pay your minimum payment, you would get a penalty charge of like 25, 30, 40 pounds. And so that I got my first penalty charge, and that then took me over my limit. Then I got another penalty on top of being over my limit, right? Because of being over my limit, and it just spiraled and spiraled and spiraled. So I now spent most of my time trying to pay off this credit card. And because I didn't understand, how the minimum payments worked, I was just paying the minimum payments thinking I was doing something really great, when actually I was just wasting my money trying to pay the minimum amount to cover this this credit card. Okay, so I came out of uni thinking, I'm done with credit. But then I got my first job, I paid off this Capital One card, and then I, as you do when you get your first job, friends, like the girls, we would travel, we'd go to Spain, Italy, Paris, and part of these costs would go on my credit card, and I was thinking, I'll pay it off next month. And next month comes and you don't actually pay it off. Hi Mila. And so the point is, we stack up this credit card debt because we're thinking that we will eventually pay it off, but life happens and then you don't end up paying the basic credit that you've used. And if you're thinking that if you pay the minimum payment you're going to be paying off that debt, you are mistaken. Okay, so I've always said that when it comes to debt, there is good debt and there's bad debt. Good debt is debt that you acquire which helps you to generate money. Okay, so let me give you an example. I will get a 0% credit card, and I will use, and not even a 0% credit card, I beg your pardon, I'll get a 0% loan for a year, and I will take that £10,000 loan and I will put it in an investment where I know I will get like a 20% return. Okay, so now I'm getting £2,000 made. And okay, my timer has gone off. I'm going to reset it. I put my timer on because, as you know, guys, I can talk for Britain. So here's another 10 minutes. So basically, I will invest that £10,000 and get 20% back, and then I pay off that £10,000. That is how to use debt in a good way. But when you're building debt through just having to live your general life, it's a very negative thing. And as I said before, it affects your mindset, it affects your mental health, it affects how you feel about yourself, right? And also, when you are in debt, the problem is you cannot get the best rate credit cards, loans, mortgage rates. You just can't do it because you've got bad debt, so they're going to give you high interest rates. Okay, so it's like an ongoing cycle where you're in debt, you're trying to get in debt, but you're struggling because you can't find ways to get out of debt. So this is why I'm here today, to help you to know how to pay off your debt quickly. And guys, I want to tell you that the credit system, that they're not here to help us. If you're finding that you're relying on credit, you are not utilizing or doing the right things with your money. Essentially, once you've paid off your debt, what you should be doing is saving for an emergency, saving for holidays or whatever. And once you do that, you're using your own money and you're not having to pay so much for using a credit card or whatever else it is. And it's fine if you have a 0% credit card and you put your holiday on there, but make sure you pay it off before your 0% is over. That is also acceptable, right? So guys, and now I'm going to give you a general example of how credit cards work. Okay, so let's just say you've got a credit card for £100, okay, and they give you 24%. Hi Mila, thank you. You just said I love your advices. Oh, thank you so much. So you've got a credit card for £100, right? And they say to you, your interest rate is 24%. Okay, a lot of people just assume that 24% of £124 is what the interest you're going to pay, but that is completely wrong. You have a credit card which gives you £100 credit and 24% interest. Divide that interest by 12. That is now 2% interest. Okay, the 2% interest is calculated on your balance. Okay, so say if you've used up the £100 credit, and 2% on £100 is £2, okay, and then they tell you to pay the minimum payment of £3. The minimum payment is normally between 3 to 5% of your amount. So say your minimum payment is going to be £3. So for the first month, they've asked you to pay £3, right? Out of that £3, £2 of it is going to interest. Okay, so the only amount that you're using to pay off the £100 that you've used is £1. So next month you have £99 on there, and they calculate another 2% on that £99. Okay, so it sounds simple where they say, oh, 24% per annum. You are actually paying a lot more than that. In the first month, 66% is going towards interest. Okay, so guys, don't be deceived. Like, they tell you, you know, you're paying only this amount, but actually you're paying so much more than you know. And don't forget, if they're giving you the minimum payments to make, you're gonna take like 5 years or even more to pay that off. So just imagine how much debt or how much payments you're making to interest by having this £100 credit card. It's not worth having. So now I want to talk to you about how to pay off your debt fast. Okay, so here is step number one. Step number one is face your fears. Okay, you have to face the fact that you're in debt, but the most important thing is you have to know how much debt you owe. Okay, a lot of people have debt. They have, you know, credit cards, overdrafts, loans, and all they're doing is paying off little bits. But actually, you have not sat down and said, do you know what? How much is the total debt I own? A lot of people don't do that. You just have debt and you're just paying off, and you don't have a clue of the total debt. So number one is face your fears and figure out how much debt you owe. And how you do that is by listing out on a spreadsheet, on paper, on your iPad, whatever is easy for you. List out every single type of debt you have individually. So for example, if you have 5 credit cards, list every single credit card, right? And put the interest amount for every debt that you have. So for example, you have credit card number 1, you have £500 debt on it at 24% interest. Credit card number 2, you have £1,000 at 29% interest at, you know, and just keep going. List all your debts, your mortgage, your overdraft, your loans, list everything and put the interest rates. Okay, that's step number 1. Step number 2, this is the key. You have to find a way to gain more income. Okay, so if you have a job at the moment, you have to find a way to get more income. Whether it be you become an Uber driver, you become a driver for supermarket, you walk dogs, you make things creatively and you sell them. You find ways to make money. Like, I have done a list of how can I make money, 100 ways of making money, and I guarantee you I was able to think of 100 ways I could make money. And that's what you need to do. You need to have a side hustle or something that will allow you to generate more income. Now, what I would suggest is about £200, or wherever you are. If you are in somewhere in Europe, €200, UK £200, America $200 US. Make it a ballpoint of £200. Hi Dennis, hi guys, hi everybody that's watching, hi Chanel. Have £200 extra income per month. That is £50 extra income per week. You can find it. And if you tell me you don't know how you can generate an extra £50 per week or an extra £200 per week, then you don't have the right mindset, because trust me, if you want to pay off your debt that badly, you will find a way. Trust me, you will find a way. So step number 2, find extra income. Have a side hustle. Write out ways you can generate more income. There are so many ways. Babysitting, walking dogs, as I said, Uber driving, only for a few months, right? Getting a night job, a weekend job, whatever it takes, right? So now you have found a way to get an extra £200 income. Now, step number 3, there are 2 methods you can pay off your debt fast. The first method is called the Avalanche Method, and it is what it sounds. The Avalanche Method is basically where you see, step number 1, I said list out your debt and the interest. What you're doing is you're now rearranging your debt from the debt that you have to pay the highest interest. So say you've got a credit card that you pay 29%. That would be the most expensive debt you have at that moment. So now you have to pay the minimum payment for all the debt you have, just to make sure that you are meeting the minimum requirements. And for the debt that has the highest interest rate, you put £200 towards that debt, right? Plus the minimum payment. And every month you pay towards that debt until that debt is finished. Once that debt is gone, you go to the second debt that has the highest rate, right? Now that is the Avalanche method. It's technically the best method, but for me, I don't believe it is. The second method, this is the method that I think everybody should adopt, and it's called the Snowball Effect method. It's amazing. So when I talked about step 1, you list all your debt. What I want you to do is list all your debt from the smallest debt to the highest debt, right? i.e., credit card number 1, £100. Credit card number 2, £300. Overdraft, £500. So you list it in the order of the debt from the lowest to the highest, regardless of what the interest rate is. And what you do is that extra income you have found from step 2, you pay off your smallest debt first. Okay? When you pay off your smallest debt, what will happen is you will have that £200 plus the minimum payment that you were paying for that £200 to add onto the next debt, which is the second lowest debt you have. And what that does is it does several things, right? To do it in that order, you are focusing on one thing at a time, right? Oh my gosh, so I've met 20 minutes. I've done 20 minutes. So I'm going to set my timer again for another 10 minutes. I'm hoping I'll be done soon. I think I will. So now, by paying off your debt from the lowest to the highest, these are the things, this is what it does for you. It helps you to focus on one thing at a time, okay? It helps you to build momentum, right? Because just imagine, you pay off your smallest debt, you're like, yes, I've paid off one debt. Now you move on to your second lowest debt, and it's achievable because those are the lower ones, right? So now, the money that you were using to pay off your first debt, you add that to your minimum payment for your second debt and you pay that off, right? Not only that, it makes you feel like you have achieved something, right? Because you have accomplished something, because you've actually paid off one of your debts and you still have more, but guess what? You are working on them one by one, step by step. And also it's very motivating because you're starting to see that it's possible for you to pay off your debts, right? So that's the Avalanche method. That's the Snowball Effect method. So as you're paying off your debt, you are also building up your minimum payments that you're paying to your other credit cards to pay off your next debt. So it's a step-by-step process, and it's the best way I would suggest to pay off debt, right? Do not pay the minimum payment because it will take you forever to pay it. And I guarantee you the majority of that money that you're paying towards your debt is actually going to go to interest, and it's not going to benefit you, okay? And the other thing I would say is that if you feel like you can't get a side hustle when you can't get extra income, then find a way of reducing some of your household expenses. You know, whether it is going out, sacrifice something for a few months so that you can get some extra income to pay off these debts. It takes a lot of sacrifice, but I guarantee you once you've finished paying off those debts, you will feel so relieved. And then that's when you can learn to start building wealth. And you know, the whole thing is, I want people to start finding ways of getting passive income. Passive income is the way to build wealth. What's happening is that you are finding ways to make money without actually having to do something. So for example, I've got a YouTube channel that I generate money on a monthly basis. I post my videos on there, yes, but I don't actually have to do anything because I'm doing lives anyway, and the videos that I have on there are old videos, so I'm not actually having to do anything to gain that passive income. Investing in, you know, company portfolios to get dividends on a monthly basis, that's passive income. But you can't even think about that until you pay off your debt. So if you're in debt, think about the Snowball Effect method. That is the best method for you, and I guarantee that will make a difference to your life, okay? So now I just want to read some of the comments. So Dennis said money savvy money savvy content. Thank you, Dennis. Dash Alpha said you are right on point, sis. Thank you, Dash Alpha. Chanel said teach, sis. Thank you, guys. Okay, so there are so many ways to build wealth, guys, but if you're in debt, the first thing you need to be thinking about is paying off that debt. Okay, do not be in debt, guys, because the system is not here to help us. It's just here to bring us down. Get yourself out of debt first and then start thinking about ways to build wealth. Now, there are several. I've got a savings group on Facebook, and we're doing the 52-week saving plan at the moment. So if you want to join that, you are more than welcome to. And it's a really easy method of saving money as well. Dennis would be able to vouch for that. And then, so here are the points once again, right? So these are the action points for you. The first one is to, if you're in debt, don't put it off. Face your fears now. Figure out what debt you're in and start resolving it. The second thing is to start defeating debt, right? You do not want to live a life of being in debt your whole life. I've been there and it was the worst experience of my life, okay? And I got help for it. So if you need help, I'm here. I can point you in the right direction. I can work with you. I'm okay with that. And the other thing is acknowledge the debt. So face the problem, as I said. Communicate your debt problem. Speak to people about it. Speak to me about it. Speak to your closest friends and family that you trust about it. Start making changes now. Stop going out there and buying, the cost of coffee is like 10 times a week. It's just not helping you. Stop, going out there and buying all these designer things when you don't actually need them because you've got enough stuff. Start selling some of the goods that you have in your home, and don't tell me you don't have anything to sell. I'm sure a lot of you have clothes that you haven't worn for ages, equipment, stuff that you don't need. Sell them and use that money to pay off your debt. Okay, and the last thing is, when you start seeing results, reward yourself. That's when you can treat yourself to something. Don't treat yourself unnecessarily to things. That's how you get yourself into debt in the first place, right? And then the last thing is, as I said, I help entrepreneurs, business owners specifically, and individuals to get out of debt. So if you need help, DM me and let's talk, and I can either point you in the right direction or I can see if I can help you. Okay, so I'm gonna love you and leave you now. It's been great talking about this, and I've been so passionate about this because I want people to realize that debt is not normal. We've kind of accepted debt as the average thing that every household has, but actually when you start trying to get yourself out of debt, there's other ways that you can live a good life. You can start saving. You can start finding ways of investing in passive income, finding ways of generating passive income, and then maximizing your income, because right now if you're in debt, you're more or less giving your money away, and we don't want that. So I'm gonna love you and leave you. It was amazing talking to you. If you have any questions, just DM me, and thank you so much for all the support. Lots of love, guys. Bye. Before you leave, don't forget to like and comment, subscribe and click that bell. To follow me on my other platforms, my links are below. Click on them and they will take you straight there. Take care. Bye.